Hey, welcome guys. So in this video that I'm going to introduce the second isomorphism theorem. So previously we just proved the first isomorphism theorem, and there are second and third. So I will introduce third first because third is easy, easier than the second one. Okay, so this is the third isomorphism theorem. Okay, so the setting is that say we have G, and where is a normal subgroup? K is a normal subgroup, and H is also a normal subgroup of G, and K is a sub. This bad. Let me just redo it. So H is a normal subgroup G, and K is normal subgroup of G, and K is subgroup of H. And obviously that K is a normal subgroup of H, right? Because K is normal subgroup of G, so any subgroup between K and G will be K will be normal. Okay, I should just do this. Okay, then. So now we have this H, we have K, right? H and G. So this theorem says that G quotient K. So G quotient K is the largest one, right? Largest one. So if you quotient H quotient K, then we're isomorphic to G quotient H. So this is the same as you can just use the somewhat trivial as the division, but yeah, it's fairly simple to understand this. Very simple to remember this formula. Okay, so this is the results. Basically, G quotient K, quotient H quotient K will be G quotient H, will be isomorphic to G quotient H. Okay, so proof. So to prove this, we hope to construct. So from first isomorphism theorem, right? So we hope to construct a map from G quotient K to G quotient H. So it's a very naive construction. So that's G quotient K to G quotient H. So each element here is xk, and x belongs to G. So right, so I just define it to be mapped to xh, where x belongs to G. Okay, so first you need to still check that phi is well defined. So it should be very simple. Let's say so I just need to check that if x k x1 k1 is x2k x2k, x1k is x2k, then this means that x1 inverse x2 belongs to k. So it maps to x1h and x2h. And then you want to see that where they are the same. Right, but they definitely are the same because k is a subset of h, right? So x1 inverse x2 actually belongs to h. So x1 inverse x2 belongs to h. This implies that x1h equals x2h. So it's well defined that if left hand side are the same representative, then right hand side will be the same. Okay. So now phi is we need to prove that phi is a group homomorphism. And very simple, you just take x1k, x2k. So it becomes phi of x1, x2k. Now by the construction, we map into x1, x2h. And it's written x1h, x2h. Right, so it's phi of x1, phi of x2. So this is somehow like tautological. So its proof is trivial. Okay, so now it's considered kernel of x1k, x2k. So it's kernel. What was kernel of this? Right. So fairly simple. So kernel is just x, h. Where you ask what's the maybe I erase. What's the kernel? Kernel is the x, which xh equals h, right? Because the identity here is h. But you write, but the preimage is xk. So let me just write it. So you're asking about xh. equals to h, but you care about xk. So let me just write down. You write xk equals to you're asking about elements called xk, but xh equals to h. So this condition just tell you that x belongs to h. So if you see this carefully, you are asking about x belongs to h, but it's xk. So this is exactly h quotient k, right? Because h quotient k is a xk where x belongs to h. So it's exactly this one. Okay. So now we have a map here from g quotient k to g quotient h, and there is a group homomorphism. And moreover, it's a surjective, right? So final thing is find surjective. This is trivial because every element in the right is xh for x equals to g. So I just whatever x you have in the right hand side, I just plug to the left. Okay, so phi is surjective, and the phi is group home, and then the kernel would be just k h quotient k. So by the first iso, g quotient k quotient the kernel h quotient k will isomorphic to g quotient h. Okay, so this is the proof of the third isomorphism theorem. So next video that we're gonna to prove is the second isomorphism theorem, which become somewhat complicated, but still manageable.